Hey there, how's your day going? Today I wanted to make a video on the single player in fighting games as well as a little bit about modern monetization in fighting games specifically, especially since it's a subgenre of gaming that I personally love even though I don't talk about it too often. Recently there's been a new wave of AAA fighters other than Tekken 8, which we're still waiting on. I'm very excited with this new wave. There's been a lot of big changes in some of these franchises with how they approach the single player experience as well as their monetization. As a filthy casual myself, I buy fighting games for these experiences, as well as playing locally with friends, obviously. A ton of people have been hailing Street Fighter 6's single player as the best fighting games I've ever seen, and while that is true on some fronts, it really isn't as impressive as many people are saying. Genuinely, honestly, the World Tour mode kinda absolutely sucks ass, though that's not because of its actual fighting gameplay, which is fantastic because Street Fighter 6 has fantastic fighting gameplay. I'd argue it's more because the main story is a never-ending string of fetch quests and frustrating mini-games. While I do think it's a fantastic step in the right direction for fighting games, it's an incredibly frustrating thing to play through. World Tour feels like an Ubisoft open world game in all the bad ways, with none of the good. The missions are all go here, collect this, come back, go collect another thing. Like seriously, Jesus Christ, these missions never end. I'm so bored every time I play this game mode. I love the concept, I really do, but I feel like they didn't put in as much effort as they really could have. The early chunks of the story mode even strips you entirely of any special moves and requires you to learn them through studying under one of the game's main characters. While cool in concept, it forces you to grind way too much just so that you can feel like you have the options of a normal fighter, which just leaves me feeling frustrated, especially if I want to swap over to a new teacher and then I had to start all over again. Are you kidding me? Other than that, I will say that playing the normal fights with my siblings and friends has been an absolute blast, because if you're just looking for the fighting game side of this and you don't really care about the single player experience, it's the best that Street Fighter has ever played in my opinion. It's just so good. Now, all that alone can be easily chalked up to personal preference and playstyle when it comes to that, yes, but I do think MK1 and SF6 are different sides of a specific coin other than the single player, the coin of monetization. Now, I know I've harped on about monetization in video games many times, but that's mostly because it is something I find incredibly interesting. I don't know, it's just something about the science behind it is so very intriguing and gross at the same time. Now, there are good ways to monetize full price games in my opinion. While I do think they should just get out of them entirely, preferably, we know that's never gonna happen. And I do think that SF6 is an example of how not to do this monetization. In Street Fighter 6, there is, as I mentioned, a World Tour mode. For this mode, you get to make your own avatar who does the fighting. This avatar is where a large portion of the monetizing strategies come in, since you can buy skins, apparel, all those kinds of things for your avatar. And these skins can range from $10 to $15 for a single skin. They recently did a Ninja Turtles collab, and the skin cost $15 for one of the turtles. If you wanted all of them plus their accessories, I hope you're down to dropping nearly $100 on cosmetics. And keep in mind, this isn't unlocking them as a character. This is your avatar wearing a literal costume of one of the turtles. It's not great. They also have a battle pass that runs a new event each month, which is incredibly obnoxious. It just kind of begins to feel like they're just cramming a lot of the microtransactions into every nook and cranny. And while current alternate skins for the main cast are earnable in World Tour mode with no small amount of grinding, I highly doubt it will stay that way. Now let's talk about Mortal Kombat 1, because I think they have a much healthier microtransaction pool, mostly. I'd obviously prefer none, but MK1 does this pretty well. Some of the purchasable cosmetics in MK1 are completely free to earn. Recently, the shop rotated to an Indiana Jones skin for Johnny Cage, but then I realized I'd already earned it from the shrine. The shrine is a loot box system, to be fair, but the currency you earn to activate the shrine is completely free to earn, and it's earned quickly. You can't even purchase it if you wanted to. They also have seasonal cosmetics, which are earned through playing online matches or even the Invasions game mode, and you earn the special currency to purchase these ridiculously quick. In 1 hour of playing, I was able to easily unlock the highest priced skins there. Although now that Season 2 has dropped for Invasions, I do have to say I'm moderately disappointed with it. They made the skins the direct same as last season, just with a slightly different coat of paint. Super lackluster and incredibly disappointing. Speaking of Invasions, I will say that it's basically just a 30-hour grind fest of fighting through fight after fight, and its maps, what they kind of call like game boards, are confusing and easy to get lost in. The fact you can't look at the map overhead, like get a nice big overview, is genuinely really confusing to me that they just haven't implemented that still. It's pretty stupid, and many of these fights have additional effects that decrease the enjoyment. Although they've thankfully recently with this season 2 gotten rid of the worst of them. Like there was this one that was like a smoke cloud that would make so you had to cough every like 5 seconds, and it would interrupt your combos and interrupt. Yeah, it was awful, terrible. And while I do hate battle passes, MK1 does technically have some, but they're more like character progression lines. Why did I make it sound like it was like cocaine? Yeah, I'm doing lines of character progression. Each cameo and character has a mini battle pass type thing attached to them that earns you character specific rewards like brutalities, fatalities, skins, those sorts of things. All for free, so it just adds another form of progression, which is honestly why I think MK1 really does so well. It has these multiple forms of free progression, so you always have something to be excited to work towards, and your time just never feels wasted. It's fantastic. So in general, Mortal Kombat 1 rewards the grinding often and well, but SF6 requires so much more work to get less. And I think that's the core of the two of them feeling different. Single player for fighting games has gotten a lot better, yes, but we still have such a long way to go. No matter what I say, even though MK1's feels more satisfying, they both aren't fun. They're just there. They're padding. And that's really disappointing because I think fighting games have so much potential in the single player space, especially since they're so fun. And I'm just not good enough to be going into online matches, really. So, you know, I don't really have time to do that either because I'm making YouTube videos, I work a full-time job, you know, like I don't have time to be learning how to play Mortal Kombat because I like playing turn-based games as well, you know? So I really wish that they would put a little bit more effort into their single player experience. That's all there really is to it. It definitely always feels like it's secondary to the rest of the game, which is a little sad. That's how I feel, at least. Completely understand if you disagree, and if you do, I would love to hear what you think down in the comments. Anyhow, thank you so very much for watching this whole video. Welcome to the very end of it. I hope you have a damned lovely day. Don't forget to like and subscribe because you're cute, and you know it. But most importantly, have a goddamn wonderful day. And don't die.